Hello.
How are you?
Hi. Good morning. Good evening for you. I am fine. So let's from yesterday's command, any issues or doubts which you want to clear?
There, I'm okay with it. I
Pardon? Can you come up?
practice during the day also a little bit.
Your voice is not. It is echoing, so I'm not able to hear properly. Can you come again?
Oh, okay. I said I try to practice a little bit during the day as well. You can hear me now? Okay.
No, not clear. Can you come again? You said
Hello?
that you.
Hello? It's better?
Hello. Because yes, now it's better. Yes.
Okay. I said I try to practice during the day as well.
Okay, okay. So today's we will just had a more of practice. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
today's thing is today I will cover that what are the images reported in background.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And second thing is about how we can create a multi VM using a private network.
Okay.
Okay, so images are, if you refer to the images in Vagrant, so images are the boxes. Images refer to the boxes, that is the box which we add in a Vagrant as a virtual machine. So these are the boxes and the package of consisting of the images for of VM. Suppose, for example, if we have taken a Santos 7 and we have added Santos, so it will having an image of Santos 7. What is the provider? If it is a virtual box, then it will have with things regarding that. So when we I have shared my screen is visible one.
Yes, I can see your screen, yes.
Okay. So if we see when we create, we have this vagrant and init. Vagrant init is a command which initialize a box or initialize an image. Okay, so when we
Okay.
write down vagrant init, okay, so now if we say vagrant init CentOS 7, okay, now we are making image of vagrant CentOS 7
Okay.
because vagrant file is already there, so it is not. So if I have opened a vagrant file, okay, so it is in vagrant file we have it. So let me, what I will do, I will delete this vagrant file from here. I'm deleting this vagrant file.
Okay.
So when I am deleting this vagrant file, now there is no vagrant. So when I will run this command, I will just open the box also from
Okay.
initializing CentOS 7 box. Okay. It is from here and then so now it has initialized this. So if I go to this, now no vagrant file was added. So I will edit with Notepad. Okay. So now if you see here, the VM box with name CentOS 7 is there.
Okay.
Okay. So now this is a vagrant file. Vagrant file is in Ruby. It has used a Ruby as a language. So it is a complete Vagrant file is being written in Ruby and it has all the config. Now, if we do, so now what if you say, if you see here, we have here vagrant.config, this line, okay,
Yeah.
vagrant.config to do config. Now, here we haven't given any configuration. So when we use Vagrant up, okay, so I will show you with that. When we use Vagrant up, it will take a default machine. I will say Vagrant up, okay. Now if you see here, Vagrant up, it will have a default machine. If you see here, bringing machine default with virtual box provider. Okay, so we haven't defined anything in Vagrant file. It is taking the when we initialize a box, so what the file is created, it is taking a default thing. So if we want that our machine name should be there, so we defined a machine name there. Suppose I say that let me say take a scenario where I am creating a web server on virtual VM. Okay, a web server on VM. So let me give the name of my VM as web server. Okay. So we will define it there in Vagrant file. Okay, so when we define in Vagrantfile, so here now in this Vagrantfile, whatever is followed in hash, hash is used for comment.
Okay.
In Ruby, we are using hash as in comment. So if I say I enter, now I want to define a machine. Okay. So what I will say, let me say I want to rename it and define it as web server. So now I will just in this line also vagrant.configure this two. This two refers to the version of Vagrant. The number here in bracket version 2. If
Okay.
I write 1, then it will, but the latest version is 2, so I have written as 2. So it automatically, when you initialize a virtual box, it will take the updated number of a version. Okay. Now do command gives them a variable config. Now if see config is as a, I am using as a variable. I am defining here config d. So whatever I want to define, so it is a parameter. You can say a variable or a parameter. Parameter to define. So now whenever I define, if I want to define a name, I want to define a host name, or I want to give a name to the box, whatever it is there, I will say use config.
Okay.
Now suppose instead of config, if I use only C, I have here only C. Okay. So if I say C, then if I am defining, what I will do, C dot, when I am defining, I will say C dot.
Okay.
Okay. So whatever is being defined in this, between this, so we call it as parameter to define. So now when I am defining, what I will say, config dot vm dot define. Okay. And then I will give a name. I will give a name as web server.
Okay.
Okay. So I have given name as a web server. Now I want to define a host name. So what I will do, config dot vm dot host name.
Okay.
Host name will be web server.
Okay.
So I have defined this. I have defined config vm dot work. I am using all these remarks.
Okay.
Because we don't need it to make it a Vagrant file. Now, here I have made a mistake. I have used a capital S, capital C I have used. Okay. So now, when I have said Vagrant configure this config, so I have given the name. I have given the name for my virtual machine. I have given a host name to my virtual machine, and even which image I am using, box I am using.
Okay.
I am using CentOS 7 box. Okay. Now, if we go downwards, it is already there in when by default when we initiate it out when initially default Vagrantfile. Now, what is there? This is, if you see, we have config VM box check update. Okay. So here, if we write this down, then it will check the updates, but it will create some issues in creating a VM file. So it is advised not to use this check update. Keep it as a true, because it will error. So it is better a user use the update command for checking the update.
Okay.
Because in this version 2 of Vagrant, it is having some issues. So even with this, so it's better. No, so sorry. It is not for this. It is with this public network. I got confused. Okay. So even it is if we keep it here true, then it will check it out. If we clear, but it is recommended that don't use in this Vagrant file, because one reason is this: whenever you will whenever you make your virtual machine up, each time it will check for the update, and in case if there was some timeout error, it takes much time, then timeout error will come and your VM will not be up.
Okay.
So that is the reason why it is written as false. It is recommended that better user use it separately. So when you are using that command, because it will check, when it was making an update, it is checking other configuration also. So it is better not to use this update.
Okay.
Okay, because we frequently make it out. Once our work is done, we will halt the virtual machine, and after that again, when we suppose after 1 hour we need it again, then we make it up. Okay, so at that time again it will check for the update, and in one hour there is no update, so it will take time out or something. So it is advised that it should be false here.
Okay.
So I will not changing anything now. What we have used the mapping of the port. Okay, mapping of the port means when you, from the host machine, the port is mapped to the guest machine. We are creating a VM as a guest machine. So this forward is being used for the map. So what we say, config VM network forward port guest 80 to guest 8080. Okay. So this we will use later on when we when we do a scenario. I will take a use case to update a web server, to install a web server on a VM. Okay. So at that time we use. Same is this configuring forward port network with the forward port using a host IP. So by default, it is used a host that is public network. So when we initialize VM box, at that time, by default, it is public. We can change into a private network. So when we are changing to private network, the syntax is this. Okay. Config VM network, we are making it as a private. So in the first parameter will be what type of network, private network, and second will be the IP. Okay. So in this in this way, these are the different things in Vagrantfile. We will go on. So if when we say config VM network, private network, IP this, so it will take it as a private network. But if we don't want, we want it to the VM network, public network. So we will make it as public. So config.vm.network is a syntax to make a network, whether we are using a public network or a private. So if we are using a public network, we can make a change in the Vagrantfile. So the changes in Vagrantfile should be done, and then only after that, Vagrant up command can be used. Okay. So this is about public network. Now, suppose we are using some data. Okay. We are using some data. So data is being stored, or we want to have it. Suppose when we will install a web server. Okay. When we install a web server, then we use this if you see here, share an additional folder to the guest VM. Okay. So additional folder when we use and install any application, any software on a VM. So how this VM will come to know that from there where he has to take this software or something. So that is a folder. So the path of the host to the actual folder. Okay. So it has two arguments. So first argument, if we are syncing the folder of host machine with a guest machine, must be a synchronization. So this command config vm.sync folder is being used to sync this folder. Now, what is this? The first argument. Argument 1 is the path on the host. Okay, it is the path on the host, and the second argument is on the guest. We are mounting. We are installing web server. We are taking the file from the host and we are mounting it on the guest. Okay. So therefore, second will be the guest folder, to which we will mount it. Now, if you have seen when we have done a Vagrant up, what happens when we have done a Vagrant up? It is a CLI mode only, no GUI. That what is happening on a virtual box is not being displayed on our screen. Okay. So if I say Vagrant up, so it will not show anything. So if we want that, we want to see what is happening on a virtual box also. What step is being done there, is happening there. Okay. So we have one command. Okay. Config VM provider. Okay. So now if we want to configure something on a provider means, because when we add, I will show you what the provider here refers for. Suppose I say Vagrant box add. Okay, and let's see from here, because CentOS we have added already. If we know that we want to use some certified. So suppose there is this ban is a provider. So we can also here from the search we can do it. Okay. So if I say I want to use this ban CTS CentOS 7. Okay. So now what I will say, add this box. Okay. So I say control V. These are the providers because it has only one virtual box. So I hope here it will not give the option. Let me do
Okay.
one. Let's show you. I will show you this. Let's see this. No, this is also only having one provider. Let's have this Debian Jesse 64. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So if I say copy, what is the name of another folder? Wait. Okay. One more thing I will just tell you here.
Mm-hmm.
When we are creating a folder, so because sometimes it can give an error, so we cannot have a space in between the name. It's better
Okay.
that we can use a this.
Okay. Renaming the okay.
Yeah, because sometimes what happens when we are creating an boxes or images using on this using that, so sometimes it gives an error. So it is better either we can use a underscore or a hash in between the no spaces in the name of a folder.
Okay.
CD Vagrant underscore. Oh, sorry, I was on this Vagrant folder. See, it is there. Vagrant underscore. Okay. Now I say Vagrant box add this. Why it does not ask? Because when we have this bit error. So when we have suppose yesterday we have when we have add HashiCorp, so it has
Mm-hmm.
whether you want Hyper-V, VirtualBox or VM Fusion.
Right.
Okay. So these are the providers.
Okay.
These are called providers now because what type of VirtualBox or what type of image we are using. Either we are using Hyper-V image in creating a VM or we are using VirtualBox or we are using VMware Fusion.
Okay.
Okay. So this in this way it gives it. So here what we give config VM dot provider VirtualBox. Suppose we are using this Hyper-V. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here we will write Hyper-V.
Okay.
Because when we add a VirtualBox, then option comes. So if we select Hyper-V, then by default in Vagrantfile, it will come here as Hyper-V.
Hyper-V. Okay.
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 But if we select VirtualBox, we have selected VirtualBox, therefore it is coming because we are using VirtualBox. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Now, if we say VB GUI true, okay, what will happen? It will show us the GUI. So I will remove this hash from here. I will remove hash from here also. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because if a hash is there, then Vagrantfile will not read it.
Okay.
We can give the memory also. What if the VM must be having memory as 1024 or 1 gigabyte, or 208. Whatever the requirement of a memory, 1 gig or 2 gig. So we use here memory as per our requirement. Suppose we have received a request that we have to create a VM with 2084 or more than that 2084. So whatever the requirement, we give the memory here.
Okay.
Okay. Now one more thing. Here we are. This is again a next bunch of commands where we are giving a virtual box. If you see in above here what we are doing, we are configuring a VM.
Right.
Command, we are configuring a VM.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But here we are configuring a virtual box.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a other set of things. So we have and any set of commands which begins will have to end.
Okay.
Okay. So here we are. So it will end here.
Okay.
Now we have seen in Vagrantfile how we configure the VM virtual machine, how we configure a virtual box.
Okay.
Okay. Now these are the two things. So let's work with these two things. Then we will move to the provisioning.
Okay.
Provisioning. Okay. So what I am doing, I am saving this file. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now, okay, it has come. So if you see, okay, we have moved it. It has two providers. If I will select one, then it will do libvirt, and if I select two, then VirtualBox.
Okay.
So that's why it's come.
Mm-hmm.
I want to Vagrant halt. Let me, because I have made it as up. Let me make it halt. So again, I will make a halt up, then this increase.
Okay.
So when I have shown you this, that bringing machine default virtual box, and then it is going, taking the commands, different commands.
Mm-hmm.
So it is forwarding the ports, then booting VM, SSH address is this. This is a public IP. Okay.
Okay.
So sorry, this is a host IP 127.0.0.1. This is a host port. Okay.
Okay.
Username Vagrant, and this it's taking by default.
Okay.
So now it's RD web server. We have not created mode. Okay. So now what I will say, Vagrant up. Okay. Now what the changes we have done there. So let's see the changes.
Virtual box and VM.
Actually, I have made the changes while it was there. I have made Vagrant up, and then I have made changes there. In so when I was saying halt, because by default, then I have not. Now, if you see, bringing machine web server up with VirtualBox provider. So we have
Okay.
defined a VM as a web server.
Okay.
Okay. So in this, so this way we can make changes in our Vagrant file.
Mm-hmm.
So Windows and network is coming, and what we have given. So it's just conquering. So here, if you see, 22 is guest and 220 is host.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It defined here the. Okay, what I've seen, there is an issue. It's not showing me. GUI. So what is the host we are taking? CentOS 7. Okay, what I will do, I am folder. I am folder Vagrant. Okay. Let me open this and make a change because CentOS is not support a GUI. CentOS 7 VirtualBox not support GUI. So let's say instead of VMbox and host, let's say HashiCorp, because HashiCorp
Okay.
precise 64. Now here, if I will give HashiCorp precise 65, okay, if I gave a wrong name, then it will not create a virtual box. It will give an error. You can try by giving, let me destroy this print box. Then we will do from the beginning.
Okay.
I will copy this Vagrant file because whatever the changes we have done. Sorry, the destroy is Vagrant destroy, I think. I have, yeah, Vagrant destroy. I have written Vagrant box destroy. That's not.
Okay.
Yeah, Vagrant destroy. If I have done. If I say Vagrant remove, it will remove it from there. But if I say Vagrant destroy, then it will remove all the resources also.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the difference between remove and destroy. So it will, to remove a box or destroy a box, we use directly with the Vagrant command.
Okay.
Remove command is being used with the box, Vagrant box remove. But destroy or halt is being used with Vagrant command. Halt means we are stopping. Destroy means we are removing.
Okay.
So it has this, and then it has HashiCorp. Okay, let me copy paste from the other file which we have saved here. Okay. So I will say config VM web server. C, and then in this Vagrant file.
We will
What I have done, I just forget to remove hash from end. Okay.
okay.
Yeah, what I have done BBGUI and this, and I am not able to. That's why it has given the error here. Syntax error 72 actually and auto input.
Okay.
Okay, so line 72. Yeah, because it is finding we have 2 and it is finding another 72.
Mhm.
Here it will show the Oracle virtual box also.
Okay.
Whatever he will perform, it will be shown here. Oracle. Okay, let it be done. Now, what we can use another Vagrant file on this one.
Okay.
Okay, I will show the changes what the Vagrant file I have shared in another folder. Okay.
Okay.
Meanwhile, it is going on there. So let's have DevOps and this Vagrant file. Now suppose we have to change the port forward port and also and this what changes we about because we are doing as an um, we are using to install an Apache server. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So what we will do, we have to make the changes here in the this in VM forward map because so that it can map to the host port with the guest port.
Okay.
Okay. So what we do, we will say config VM dot network forward port guest 80 and host 8080. So on host it will run on 8080 and on guest it will run at 80.
80. Okay.
Okay. So this now here it is only forwarding now. Now we are making it public access. So we have to go give the host IP also. Here we are forwarding what is the difference between these two commands? Here we are forwarding only what we can say only a port. Okay. But
Yeah.
here we are giving an host IP also.
Okay.
What is the host IP?
Mm-hmm.
So that it will be taking it from the host IP. Okay. So this then we have because we are now installing any software or a server. So we have to tell it from which folder it will take it out and to which folder it will go. So this command config vm dot sync folder. Okay. So and this is the where we will give the path for host, and here we will give the path for the guest. So suppose I am keeping one file. I have created a folder here in my root. That is in documents. This is the root. Here I have created a folder HTML. Okay. So now when I will go to my script, what I will give here
ATM. Okay.
HTML.
Okay.
Now the host will be Vagrant underscore data.
Okay. The guest.
So it guest. On guest, it can create Vagrant underscore data because when it will create a guest machine, then it will create this folder on the root of it.
Okay.
Okay. So when we are using a root, okay, because we are creating at the root of that VM. So here we are syncing a folders. So let's see if it has been done or not. It is doing. Why it's not giving a this GUI? Okay, it is just taking out when it will be installed, creating a adding box, downloading from actually at present. So when it downloaded from the virtual box, now importing base box. So here till now it has added a box. So now we have done all this sync folder. Now here what we will do, provisioning. So let's we can do provisioning by chef. We can use using Ansible or something. So as we have not gone through chef, I have not shown you. You have not know the chef commands, and so what we are doing, we are using a simple shell commands. Shell script. Okay. So once we will cover chef, then we will check here again a Vagrant how we provision using chef. We will cover Ansible or whatever we have covered, then we will check with that.
Okay.
Okay. So here what I am doing now, I am removing this config vm.provision. Okay. And so VM provision using now if you see what we have given inline shell. So this command is used inline, then two arrows and then hyphen, then shell. That it gives that what we are using for provisioning. If we are using here chef, then instead of shell, we will write chef. Okay. So we are using app. Now when as we are working on the root of a VM, so we are not using sudo command. Otherwise, if we are working on not on the root of the VM, we are working on any other folders, we have to use a sudo command.
Okay.
Okay. So what we are saying, app get update. App get is a shell command to get the update.
Okay.
App get install -y. -y means we are not using confirmation that
Okay.
it will not are you sure to install it or not, because we want to if we want that yes it will prompt for asking us, then we will remove this.
Okay.
-y means we are not asking for confirmation. If we remove this, then it will ask for Apache 2, then shell. That means it will be complete here.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is will provision the VM. Apache. It will install Apache 2 on the virtual machine.
Okay.
Okay. Now there is suppose we want to see, now it's running, it's doing so. So we want to see whether it will be being installed and working correctly. So we have we can write some shell command to echo something. So as soon as it will install, it will echo the word what we want. Suppose we want hello, or we want yes, it is successfully installed. Okay. So it will echo out.
Okay.
So if we are using that, we again use a provision command. So what I am doing, I am just copying these commands, this Control C, Control V, then and then. Okay. Because for this part of the command, this is the end.
Okay.
For this part of the command, this is end. And the last end is for what we have started, Vagrant configure this.
Okay.
Okay, so we have to check it out that when we are using any part of it, so it must be having an end command.
Okay.
Okay, so now what I will do here, so I will just put one more thing here, that always when you install, after that run always. So each time it will run.
Okay.
Okay, and then I will say I don't need this app get update. I just want some to echo something. So I say echo now. Let's say hello colon.
Okay.
Now after installing an Apache 2 Apache server, it will echo out hello.
Okay.
Okay. So this way I was just let me see whether it has been done or not. So it has been done. So when it mounting on shared folder and this, so it is there. So in this way we make changes in Vagrantfile. How we give, because whatever we want to do, we have to write down in a Vagrantfile about the configuration. Suppose we want to install some software.
Okay.
We will give the information about those software in a Vagrantfile. Okay. So now, and any doubt till this point?
Yeah, so far so good.
Because I'm going slow, so that you understand.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that. So now you will just you will practice in your Vagrantfile.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just giving you the commands. What are the commands?
Okay.
In the chat box. This command above to configure VM. Okay. So one thing is there. When we define a virtual machine, we give name to a virtual machine, or when we define a host name, it will be before the defining a virtual box, the box name. So if you see Vagrant configure to config, that is to configure the VM. Now this two commands will be always before config VM this.
Okay.
So whenever you have your whenever you initialize your virtual box, so this config VM dot box, these two lines, Vagrant config, do config, and config VM docs. So these two will always be present in a default Vagrant file.
Okay.
Okay. So when we define a host machine, define a VM or give a host name, we always give before this between Vagrant configure and configure VM box.
Okay.
Okay, and then we configure the port. In this only we have to remove the hash. It is already there. By default, it is there. We have only to remove the hash.
Okay.
Okay, now this is for defining your virtual box.
Okay.
You can change memory as per your requirement.
Okay.
You can make it more or less. And then we have this provision. Okay, you just try these commands on your Vagrant file and
Okay.
check. If you face any issue, I will check.
Okay.
How much time you require to do this? 15 to 20 minutes?
Probably more than that. Or
Okay.
we can end the session so you can, prepare.
No,
you just.
No,
I said I know it's early morning for you.
No issues. No, it's not.
I can just practice.
Yeah, you just do this.
You said, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You said tomorrow no class?
Pardon?
Tomorrow you said no class?
Yeah, tomorrow is no class. So I have to cover some part of Git also. You just try this. Then we will do how multiple VMs create. And after that, we will do Git. Okay. So I'm giving you half an hour. So in this half an hour, you just try it out. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just stop sharing.
Okay.
We'll continue. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Then.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel.